overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 Tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 Tour.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Double your chances to win all month long in March with 2 big promotions. On Fridays, embrace the madness and win a share of $150,000 in cash and free play. On Saturdays, starting March 8th, go for the gold and win your share of up to $10,000 in cash and free play in the 80K Fool's Gold giveaway. Enjoy live entertainment all month long and play for your chance to win big in March only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Yesterday was the talk of the town. It was a cow on the side of the road.
Do you live close to a movie theater? I'm just curious because maybe the cow was trying to go to the movies.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't think the Boston Celtics would bounce back inside TD Garden after losing Game 1 while blowing a 20-point advantage, because they did the exact same thing in Game 2, and now they're down 2-0 headed to Madison Square Garden for a Saturday afternoon affair in Midtown Manhattan. Tickets are expensive. The Eastern Conference playoffs getting real interesting. Western Conference playoffs, we got a blowout last night and an injury that could derail the other series. We'll talk about it all momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment, about 20 minutes, Mike Wallace going to join me, senior editor, Grind City Media. I'll talk all things NBA with Mike. Finish chopping it up with him. We'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, a college basketball player from San Francisco got a waiver from the NCAA on Wednesday for another year of eligibility. Could be a good sign for Memphis and Dane Danger. I'll tell you why in about 40 minutes. President Trump is launching a commission on college sports reform that will reportedly be headlined by Nick Saban. I'm assuming it'll amount to very little. I'll tell you why a little later on in the show. Former American Idol judge Simon Cowell jumped on a podcast and detailed the wildest job offer he ever received. I'll tell you what that was in just a bit. Wild scene at Baptist DeSoto Hospital yesterday. I don't know if you've seen this. Somebody allegedly stole an ambulance and then drove it straight into the hospital.
I did see this story.
Stole the ambulance and was like, all right, I got this ambulance stolen. Now what should I do with it? And they just decided to drive it through a brick wall.
Okay.
We got pictures. We're going to show them to you in the second hour. And 3 Memphis Police Department officers who were facing various state charges connected to the death of Tyree Nichols were all found not guilty on Wednesday. If you're bothered by that, I understand. We'll spend a few minutes on the development during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start in the NBA because day 19 of the 2025 NBA playoffs, it's officially in the books. Featured 2 games last night. The first one was great. The second one was a blowout. Final score, Knicks 91, Celtics 90. Final score, Thunder 149, Nuggets 106. We're going to get to both games, but obviously the place to start is TD Garden, where for the second straight playoff game, the Celtics lost after earlier leading by 20 points. These dudes cannot stop blowing 20-point leads in a way that is actually historically unprecedented. Check this out. Last night, the Celtics became the first team in the play-by-play era, which began in the 1996-97 season, so a long time ago, became the first team to lose 2 games in a single postseason after leading by 20 or more points. And they did this in back-to-back games at home as the reigning world champions. What in the world? Big Bet Bennett, are the Celtics chokers? What's going on in Boston? Are they chokers?
I don't know if they're chokers. I mean, they did choke, though. They did choke. For 2 games. Are
you comfortable calling the reigning world champions chokers? If so, I would prefer you to do one of these.
No, I will at the end of the series.
You're not ready to do it yet.
Because I don't think this series is over.
You don't think the series is over?
No. I mean, they were up 20 in back-to-back games.
That's right.
Like, I don't think you can just watch this series and necessarily say, the Knicks are just better than the Celtics. Like, I don't think you can do that at all.
Can you say they're tougher than the Celtics?
Yes, I think you can say that.
Mentally stronger than the Celtics?
We're going to find out. We're going to find out.
Led by a better star than the Celtics because they got Jalen Brunson. He makes plays at the end of games. The Celtics, they got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And for all their accolades, I just watched 2 straight games. And you know what I saw at the end of those games? I saw Jaylen Brown not be able to get a shot off. And then I saw Jason Tatum also not be able to get a shot off. Jalen Brunson always gets his shots off.
That's true. It is kind of wild that it happened to each of those guys in those 2 games. Like Mikal Bridges had the play on Brown in the first game and then the play on Tatum in the second game.
And by the way, that's why you give up all these first-round picks to get players like Mikal Bridges.
That's insane, by the way. I know. He's giving you nothing like really in the scoring. I mean, he's been okay.
But you do have this is exactly why you do these deals, because the Knicks need a
that
stop.
Moment.
Your series might come down to whether or not you got to stop in that moment. Like, we'll see where it goes from here, but it might come down to whether or not you get a stop in that moment. And suddenly on the court, the Knicks have OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, 2 big, strong 3-and-D wings who can switch everything. And as Tom Thibodeau explained after the game last night, that's why you get those guys, because they're strong enough to handle you if you're trying to take them to the rim, and they're good enough with their feet to move if you try to play them out on the perimeter. Those guys are valuable. They might not make all NBA teams, and they might not go in the Hall of Fame someday, but they can make winning plays at a time when you need them. And at least in the first 2 games, one of those guys, Mikal Bridges, has made massive plays in back-to-back fourth-quarter moments that has created a series that is now 2-0 headed back to Madison Square Garden. In the fourth quarters of these first 2 games in this series, the Celtics are 5 of 19 from 2. That's 26% from the field. And 4 of 26 from 3. That's 15% from the field. The Celtics have been outscored 55-33 in these fourth quarters. And in the series, Boston is now 25 of 100 from 3 in 101 minutes of basketball. 15 of 60 in game 1, 10 of 40 in game 2. So they shot fewer in game 2, but still a dreadful percentage. And that's the most obvious reason why they're now sitting in this situation where they're down 0-2. And Jason Tatum struggling. 12 of 42 from the field. That's 28.6%. He's 5 of 20 from 3. That's 25%. Couldn't get a shot off last night in the final seconds. Again, Mikal Bridges, huge defensive play that ends up securing that victory for New York. So now the Knicks are up 2-0. Game 3 set Saturday, Madison Square Garden, 2:30 Central tip ABC. Boston is listed as a 5.5-point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
First, does that surprise you? And then let me ask you if this surprises you. The series is still basically a coin flip.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because they've been up 20 points in 2 straight games. Like they choked away these games. I think they're still the better team, but they may have just screwed themselves, right?
I wouldn't even argue with you if you tried to make the case that the Celtics are better than the Knicks. But once you're down 0-2 and you're down 0-2 with 2 losses at home, I mean, you just got a math problem. I don't care how good you are.
I think that's true. Yeah, like I would not pick them to win the series, but would I be shocked if they came back and won the series? No, they're the reigning champs. I think their team is better. I mean, they clearly were in the regular season. They had the Knicks number in the regular season. It looked like they had the Knicks number in both these games until they didn't.
That's right.
So they've still got stuff going for them. But to your point, like Jason Tatum, I mean, if he's not good in this series, they're not going to win.
If you're going to back Boston, you are basically betting on it can't possibly get worse, right? Like, it can't make a shot. Can't score in the fourth quarter, and yet you still had 20-point leads in both these games, and the Knicks needed big plays down the stretch to even win one of those games, much less 2 of them. Mm-hmm. We're fine. And perhaps that'll be true, but my issue becomes, okay, we're fine and we're better than them, but are we so much better than them that we're about to win 4 of the next 5? Because that's what it takes now. Again, It's just a math problem. Once you're down 0-2, you've got to win 4 of the next 5 games to advance out of the series. There's no path other than at least winning 4 of the next 5. And that's a hard thing to do, even if you're better than the team you're playing, particularly when most of the games going forward are going to be played on their court, not yours.
That's true. And, I said this to you after game 1, and I think it kind of applies to game 2. Like, it does to me. The Knicks are just leaving it all out there. Like, those dudes look just like they are going through a war.
They look comfortable in fourth quarter situations in ways that the reigning champs, frankly, don't.
Yeah, that's true. What we know is Tom Thibodeau is going to play these guys a lot. These are long series. Like, do the Knicks wear down over time throughout this series? Because that's something that has happened to them before. So could that happen in this series? I think that's a factor, honestly, in why this is still a coin flip.
And it is. Like, at FanDuel right now, the Knicks are minus 110 to win the series, and the Celtics are minus 106. So I guess technically the Knicks are slight favorites to advance out of the series, but it's basically a coin flip. And that's surprising to me. I'm not ignorant to all of the advanced metrics that show Boston's the better team, was the better team all season, led both of these games by 20, blah, blah, blah. But once you're down 0-2 with 2 losses at home, you got to win 4 of the next 5. And, yeah, you can do it, but you were walking into a situation on Saturday afternoon, buddy.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen how much these tickets are going for, but that place is going to be on fire. I mean, you want to get close to the court, you're talking about $10,000 a seat. Jeez. I mean, $10,000 a seat if you want to get close to the court. If you want to be sitting down there with Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner, it's going to cost you about $10,000 to get down there, probably more. So are you better than them? Maybe. But are you better than them when they've got Jalen Brunson, when they got switchable wings to use in the fourth quarter, and when they're in Midtown Manhattan with that crowd behind them? Maybe. But I'd feel much better right now if I were a Knicks fan as opposed to a Celtics fan, even if in the betting markets it's basically a coin flip situation. If I'm a Knicks fan, I know I've got home court advantage now. I got a 2-0 lead now. I've got wings that can make plays on their wings when it's time to make plays, and I've got the best clutch player in the NBA in Jalen Brunson. I'm feeling good about where I'm at. Mm-hmm. Saturday, 2:30 on ABC. It should be quite a scene. After we get done with Knicks Celtics last night, we get game 2 of the Nuggets and Thunder, and it was a blowout. As you know, Oklahoma City did beat the Grizzlies.
It worked out good for us, by the way. I mean, we've been staying up late. We've been tired.
I still stayed up for the whole stupid game.
I did too.
I was still awake till the very end. I saw the whole thing.
Like, I literally was like sitting there watching it thinking, why am I doing this? Go to bed. They're not coming back. Like
I like knew it was like I had my computer out and I was trying to get some work done.
Playing on my phone.
And I was gonna like turn on a show and like watch a show, but I wasn't really paying attention to television as much as I was trying to get some work done. And so I was like, I'll just leave the basketball game on. It'll just be background. I know the outcome, but it'll just be background. And next thing you know, I just watched the whole thing, watched the post game show. Ernie Johnson is disgusted with what they just watched. The whole time, Ernie was like, he looked genuinely mad. He was like, all right, is there anything else to say about this stupid game?
No.
All right, can we just move on to the Celtics and Knicks? I know we got to spend some time on Nuggets and Thunder, but like, is anybody else got anything to say about this? And they were like, no, it's getting late. It's just they were ready to get out of there.
I got to hold that L, by the way. That was, I don't know what I was thinking there. I knew it was wrong when I did it yesterday. I'd take Nuggets plus 10.5.
Well, you just
I knew it was wrong in the moment.
On a very basic level, I understand where you're coming from.
It was a respect. It was more of respect for the Nuggets.
This is a championship. There are men on that roster who have won a championship.
That's right. I'm not going to disrespect them.
The greatest player in the world wears that uniform.
Exactly.
And they had just won a game in Oklahoma City.
Right.
So you were like, well, I'm just going to take the 10 points. The problem, of course, is that Oklahoma City is like quite literally the best blow you out team in the history of the NBA.
It appears that way.
They will just they won't kill you every time, but they are statistically more likely to kill you than any team in the history of the NBA. Magic Johnson teams, Michael Jordan teams, LeBron James teams, Steph Curry teams. No team is more likely to blow you out, to run you off the court than this Oklahoma City team that we're watching right now. They beat the Grizzlies by 51 points in Game 1 in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs, and then they turn around and beat the Nuggets last night by 43, led by 49, won the game by 43. Scored a playoff record, 87 points in the first half. Nobody had ever done that before. Just total domination, so that series is now tied, heading to Denver. But the Thunder are heavy favorites to advance, minus 520 in the series right now. And as for the other Western Conference playoff series, the one that continues tonight, the Timberwolves are minus 205 to get past Golden State, even though they're down 1-0 in the series. And that's because I guess the news yesterday connected to Steph Curry could have been worse, right? Could have been a grade 2 or grade 3 hamstring strain. But it is bad. Grade 1 hamstring strain, and will be reevaluated in a week. That means he's definitely missing Game 2 tonight, definitely missing Game 3 on Saturday, definitely missing Game 4 on Monday, unless they adjust their schedule, which means the next time, based on what Golden State has publicly disclosed, the next time we can possibly see Steph Curry in a basketball game would be next Wednesday, Game 5. Sounds like he's going to at least miss the next 3 games, and that could really be the difference in the series. Because even if we do see him in Game 5, there's no scenario, or at least no guarantee, that we get a Game 6 or a Game 7. So every year this is a thing, and now we're watching it play out in both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference right now. The Pacers might end up in the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight year, in part because Cleveland is missing 3 of its top 5 players. And the Timberwolves could end up in the Western Conference Finals because Steph Curry suffered a hamstring strain.
That one feels like one of those situations where if they can get one of these next 3, then you're going to try to get him back. But if they lose the next 3, it feels like one of those steps will just shut him down.
You got to figure out how if you're Jimmy Butler or Draymond Green, you can get one of these in Denver. Because if you get one of these in Denver,
Minnesota.
In Minnesota, I'm sorry, you get one of these. The next 3 is perfect. You get one of these next 3 so that you can guarantee a Game 6. And then even if he can't play next Wednesday, it's like we're in a Game 6 at least.
Yep.
And that Game 6 would be at home. And then
Steph's back.
Steph's
the
back.
Crowd's going to be crazy.
You win that one just based off of all the championship DNA and all that stuff you got, plus home court advantage. And then it's like, all right, Game 7. We don't like to be on the road, But we did just win a Game 7 in
You
Houston.
just got one, yep.
We just won a Game 7 on the road. We have won road games in the playoffs consistently throughout our championship run. Yeah, we'd rather be at home. We'd rather not be in a Game 7, but we're comfortable. We're comfortable in this space. Very important to not go from up 1-0 to down 3-1.
Yeah.
You got to at least be in a situation where you can get to a Game 6. And if you can get to a Game 6, as long as that hamstring heals on schedule, you at least got a fighting chance. But in the betting markets right now, Minnesota, a significant favorite to advance despite being down 0-1, having lost home court advantage, and that's because Steph Curry not going to play for a while. Talk to Mike Wallace about it next.
We talked a little bit about Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells, man, he finished third in the balloting for NBA Rookie of the Year. He's going to be back. He's going to play in Summer League, and maybe he'll shoot some left-handed jumpers out there. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Good defense.
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go!
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting a NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, and on Thursdays in the second segment, I'm joined by Mike Wallace. He's a senior editor, Grind City Media, and he's here right now. Mike Wallace is GP. Appreciate you being here. Let's start with, I think, the biggest headline from last night, and that is the Knicks overcoming a 20-point deficit once again to take a 2-0 lead on the Celtics in that best-of-7 series. I know it's still a coin flip series according to the betting markets, but it feels like the Knicks are in a good spot right now. Do you think the Knicks are going to be able to finish this thing off? Because the only way they won't is if the Celtics win 4 of the next 5.
Yeah, you know what? I still wouldn't bet against the Celtics right now just because, you know, if a team is going to collapse in this situation, it's probably the New York Knicks. But they're so clutch, man. I think the only way the Celtics win is if they have to have a comfortable lead, you know, with the last 2 minutes of the game. They have to be 10 plus, 12 plus points ahead because otherwise this team is the one that's collapsing right now. And it's shocking. It's stunning We went around the horn on Grisby yesterday and talked about, each one of us on the panel picked which one of these series in the second round is the most intriguing. And I identified the Knicks and the Celtics because this goes exactly opposite to the trends that we were seeing all regular season when the Celtics dominated the Knicks and basically just toyed with them throughout the regular season. But they flipped the script right now, man. And Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and, obviously Mikal Bridges and those guys are just coming up clutch time and time again.
And it really is shocking. I don't think that's too strong of a word because when you see a team shrink in this moment or players like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, all-star level guys, max contract guys, struggle in this moment, we often will point to and be like, well, they haven't been through this before, or this is all new for them. This is not new for them. They won a championship last year. They've been through these fights a million times. For them to not be showing up right now, it's one thing to lose to a better team. I am actually shocked that they are folding in the second half of these games the way that they've folded now 2 straight.
You know what? But when you really, really look at it and just look at it in terms of talent, not in terms of resumes and what we've seen these guys do, because no one on the Knicks have actually done anything in terms of an extended playoff run for the most part. But individual talent-wise, they stack up pretty well across the board. I mean, the Knicks have 5 to 6 guys that are winning their respective positions in certain stages of the games. Karl Anthony Towns is certainly dominating the upfront matchup. We haven't seen Porzingis, or Horford really do much of anything in this series in terms of sustaining anything. And then when you look at what Mikal Bridges has been able to do defensively, I don't know. What he's doing defensively is what we're used to seeing Brown do to other guys for Boston. They lock these guys down. Brown, and Holiday lock guys down from that standpoint. We haven't had, a Derek White breakout big-time three-point shooting game yet. That's normally something we see with the Celtics. But I think the Knicks have something to do with that. Boston is looking like they're playing this series trusting that their three-point shooting system is going to kick in at some point, and they'll figure it out. Whereas the Knicks are doing everything they got to do in the moment to make adjustments, to dive on, to win all the 50-50 balls, to make all the hustle plays, and then to isolate and get the clutch opportunities. And they don't fear that moment. That's the difference right now. I think the Knicks have grown up psychologically, where I think Boston is still kind of in cruise control.
The other thing that's interesting about the Knicks is that for a while in the NBA, we've talked about big threes and core threes, and probably the most famous one as well as anybody, having covered them up close with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh forming that big three in Miami. The Knicks seem like they were a little more specific in roster building here. Rather than just going out and trying to find 3 all-star level guys, they identified a very specific type of players. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, 3-and-D wings with size and good bodies that can do exactly what they're doing in the fourth quarter to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Is there a lesson in there for the rest of the NBA that it's not about a big 3 anymore as much as it's about absolutely have your star or 2, but you've got to be intentional with the pieces you use to supplement them. And the Knicks, at least right now, look like they've done that really well.
Yeah, you look around, the NBA, and you're seeing that. You look on the West side, that's basically Oklahoma City's formula, except they're doing it with guys that are not on max level contracts. They're doing it with one guy on a max contract and a lot of guys on rookie scale extensions. But you go for balance more so than big threes. You know what I mean? You go for, 5 to 6 man balance. And that's what the Knicks did. Now they're paying a premium at every single one of those positions, and every single night the pecking order is interchangeable in terms of who's going to lead that team in terms of scoring or in big plays. Josh Hart was leading scorer for most of that game, last night. They've had games where, obviously Brunson is the guy with the ball in his hands at the last moments, but Mikal Bridges isn't afraid to take the big shot. OG Anunoby can take a big shot or make a big stand when you need to. And Karl Anthony Towns is right there willing and able to do whatever he needs to do. So these guys are all interchangeable in terms of when they're willing to step up and what they need from them. The one thing you had concern about with the Knicks is could they stay healthy playing the kind of minutes that Thibodeau is making these guys play. And what happened last year is they ran into the injury bug. They ran out of gas. Right now, they seem to be rolling right now, and they're all healthy for the most part. And it's a scary matchup. Right now, up 2-0 with, you haven't even played a home game yet. Most common sense would say that the Knicks should win this series. but I still feel like it's kind of even. It almost seems like, okay, Boston is spotting the Knicks 2 games to set them up to do something really, really horrible over these next 5. And, we'll see how it goes. But again, it is really, really the most intriguing series of the second round so far.
I saw Brian Windhorst on television, and he was in Boston last night. He was in the Boston locker room after the game, and he said it's just a weird vibe because they're all like just as shocked as you and I are, because they're like, this is the way we play. This has always worked. We're getting good shots. Just all of a sudden, they're not going down. And so like on one hand, it's like, trust the process. This is what we do. We've been doing it well for a long time. We're not going to switch it up now. On the other hand, it is not working, and this is surprising to us. If you're Joe Mazzulla, do you change some of the approach, or do you continue to trust what got you here, which is playing this style of basketball?
I tweak it. I don't completely change it, because I do think that this team will be able to knock down shots. They just had a 2-game horrible stretch at home where the shots weren't falling. I like the looks for the most part that they're getting. I don't like who is taking most of them. I don't like Tatum settling for the step back, fall away, fade away threes. I don't like that. He's too talented at getting downhill, as we saw on that second to last play where he just went straight through the Knicks defense. Now they tried to do it again on the final play, and the Knicks jumped it up a little bit more and kind of forced them into that shot clock or turnover situation. But to me, Boston is better when Tatum is mixing his game up. He can't just be the pretty boy jump shooter. He can't do that. Like, Brown is more willing to go in and mix his game up. Derek White will mix his game up every now and then. You see other guys that are willing to do different things. But Boston is most dynamic when they activate Porzingis. If Kristaps Porzingis cannot inflict his will and be that unicorn in the series that sets everything else up, then Boston will continue to struggle. I trust their shots. I even trust that this thing is going to go back to Boston for Game 5, tied up at 2-2. I think they'll go to New York and get 2 wins there. I wouldn't bet on that, but I think that they're totally capable of it because, again, these are all one-possession games. And I trust Boston more in that one-possession game because of what they've been able to do than just about any team in the NBA. So we'll see. It's going to be, like I said, it's intriguing. But, yes, they don't switch up anything. They have to make some tweaks defensively, but they don't switch up who they are offensively, identity-wise, at this stage of the season.
So Knicks Celtics was awesome. Then we get Nuggets Thunder. It wasn't nearly as interesting. 87 points in the first half for Oklahoma City. That's an NBA playoff record. They win the game by 43. I guess nobody knows better than us what the Thunder are capable of doing to you once they get rolling, and the Nuggets were reminded of that last night. Oklahoma City, not a perfect team, but they are capable of blowing any. They can beat anybody by 25 or 30 points on a given night, and last night was the latest example of that.
And that's what they've done. That's what made them historic in terms of the point differential, the greatest point differential in NBA history. Something like 13 points better than their opponent over the course of 82 games. That's just what they are. But what makes them damn near perfect is how relentless they are on defense when they want to completely lock in. I haven't seen a team as much on a string defensively like this from 1 through 5 since that death lineup of the Golden State Warriors when Iguodala and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson and all those guys were out there doing their thing. And that was with 2 guys that weren't necessarily plus defenders in Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. All 5 of the guys that are on the floor at any given time for Oklahoma City will lock you down and know what it takes to lock you down. And then they can go and score on the other end. They turn defense to offense as fast as any team that I've ever seen. And they get to the rim so fast, their speed at every single position, their length at every single position. I remember in the middle of the Grizzlies series when they came to Memphis for games, 3 and 4, they had an off day practice. And, at FedEx Forum, and we were in the grand lobby waiting to get into the Grizzlies practice for post-practice availability. And all of the Thunder just walked straight through the grand lobby to take the shortcut. They didn't take the bus over across the street to the west, and they walked through the grand lobby. And I'm like, man, everybody was 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". Yes. Everybody was built like a gazelle. Everybody had long arms, and everybody they seem so interchangeable, man. And that's just. They are as close to the perfect defensive team as you're ever going to find from 1 through 5, and that's why they're doing what they're doing.
Wrapping up here with Michael Wallace from Grind City Media. Last thing before I let you go. Tonight we get Game 2, Warriors and Timberwolves. Golden State wins the first game, but now we know Steph Curry is going to be unavailable tonight. Also in Game 3, also in Game 4, probably in Game 5, or at least that's on the table. Golden State, it looks like to get out of the series is going to have to win some games, at least a game, without Steph Curry. Can they do it?
I think they can. And this is, listen, you can't replace Steph Curry and what the magic that he's able to conjure up every time he touches the basketball. And even when he's a decoy, what he's able to do for your offense and how you're able to have to, accommodate for him at every single moment. But I think if you're going to put the Warriors back against this wall, this is the ideal situation, number one, because Jimmy Butler has it in for Minnesota. Minnesota has it in for Jimmy Butler. So they're going to get the very best of Jimmy Butler. I think this is an ideal time for Jonathan Kuminga to dust off whatever was going on with him and Steve Kerr and figure out how to be back to the impactful player that he can be on the wing as well, to give him another person that they can defend and score and create his own shot. Buddy Hield has all the confidence in the world right now, and you see that skit that he and Jimmy Butler are on. And then I haven't even mentioned Podziemski and Draymond Green and some of the other guys. I'm not saying it's ideal, but the combination of Minnesota not really, Minnesota going through these, feast or famine, identity crises, and then you're talking about Golden State knowing exactly what they are. I think this is the moment right now. The next two games are where the Warriors could say, this is the reason why we got Jimmy Butler, and we're going to put ourselves in position to try to win these games. They already playing with house money right now. They just have to get through this game 2, without getting anyone else hurt, get back to Golden State, and then take care of your business there. Buy yourself as much time to get Steph Curry back as much healthy as possible, and then you can do it. All they got to do is just split the next 2. They're probably going to concede tonight's game, but I don't think they will. I think they'll fight for it, and then they go back to Golden State, and I think it kicks in where they take a 2-1 series lead, and then you hope Steph Curry can be back closer to Game 4 and Game 5 as opposed to later on in the series.
That is Mike Wallace, Grind City Media. Make sure you follow him on X at @MyMikeCheck. That's at @MyMikeCheck. You're the best, buddy. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you soon.
Hey, thanks a lot, G. I appreciate it, man.
All right, bye-bye. That's Mike Wallace, Grind City Media. We come back. NCAA granted a waiver to a West Coast Conference player yesterday that could, theoretically, be good news for Dane Danger and the University of Memphis. I'll talk you through that next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Going to do our pick six favorite Outkast songs in honor of Outkast being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Elevators is the most creative.
Me and you.
Yes. Your mama and your cousin too.
Every time I hear somebody say me and you, I
just go to the next one, right?
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're gonna get seated this. So who's gonna actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app. Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in. And Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
A young man named Malik Thomas received a waiver from the NCAA yesterday for an extra year of eligibility. And this is, at least theoretically, possibly good news for the University of Memphis and Dane Danger, because the stories are not exactly the same, but similar in the sense that Malik Thomas, one of the 4 years of college basketball that he's played so far, in one of those seasons, he only played 9 games. The NCAA is going to give him that season back, so he'll be able to play one more year of college basketball this upcoming season, reportedly, most likely at the University of Virginia. Dane Danger is in a similar situation in the sense that, yes, he has appeared in college basketball games in 4 different seasons, once at Baylor, 2 seasons at Illinois, 1 season at the University of Memphis. But in that 1 season at Baylor, the 1 season where he actually appeared in regular season games, he only played 3 games, and that is at least in part the logic behind submitting a waiver and trying to get him this extra year of eligibility back. Do you really want to take an entire year of eligibility from a young man who only appeared in 3 games of what is a possible 40 if a college basketball team were to maximize its regular season and postseason? I say no, Bennett. I say the NCAA should not want to take a year of eligibility away from a young man who only appeared in 3 games, and that's why put me on the committee. I'd stamp it.
Let's stamp it.
I would stamp it.
Come on, committee.
I would stamp it. I would stamp it and allow Dane Danger to play 1 more season at the University of Memphis. And if I were Dane Danger, you know what I would do? Hire the best lawyer that you could possibly hire and start publicly threatening a lawsuit if you do not get the news that you want.
Okay.
Just don't wait for them to deny your waiver and then say, I'm going to get a lawyer and I'm going to sue.
Let's do it now.
Say it now. If I don't get the waiver, I'm going to sue. And if you're in the NCAA, then you know what I would do?
Let's just...
That's exactly right. And I would do it with that exact expression.
Yep.
I would do it with that exact same facial expression. All right, who cares if Dane Danger plays at the AAC next season?
We really want to fight this.
It's bad PR and a waste of our time and our resources.
Mm-hmm.
Who loses if Dane Danger gets to play at the University of Memphis next season? North Texas? I mean, who cares? I don't want to go into another lawsuit. I don't want the bad PR. Just give him the waiver. If I'm Dane Danger, I am threatening.
I like this plan.
Every day. I will file a lawsuit the second that my waiver is denied, if it's denied. And it doesn't even matter if you can win. Just yell it. Just keep yelling. The best thing you can do to the NCAA right now is tell them you're going to sue them.
Okay.
They lose every lawsuit.
That appears to be true.
And at this point, they have, in many cases, just stopped fighting.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you can get away with whatever you want to get away with right now is because they don't want to fight in a courtroom anymore, which, we'll get to that. That story will carry over into the next one as well.
Mm-hmm.
They lose in courtrooms way more often than they win, so much so that they don't want to fight in a courtroom anymore. So tell them, if you don't do what I'm asking you to do, I'm taking you to a courtroom. And ultimately, you might win, but do you really win? What do you win if you actually try to fight me on this and win? We kept Dane Danger from playing one more season in the AAC? Okay, congrats. It's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you bad PR. Are you really winning even if you win? You fight us on this. Are you even winning even if you win? I'd say probably not. So don't fight me. Don't fight me. At a time where who knows what's going on in college athletics or where it's headed, I should be the least. I, being Dane Danger, should be the least of your worries. So just grant me the extra year of eligibility. And if you don't, we'll have a high-profile legal case that will take up your time and your money and have people wondering, what are you even fighting this for? So don't fight me. That's what I would do right now.
Yeah, and I think, I've told you, like, I honestly, I'm not saying, like, I'd rather have Dane Danger than PJ Haggerty. I'm not saying that at all. PJ Haggerty's was an All-American, right? But I think it's almost as important. Like I've been on that I think bringing back Dane Danger probably just as important as, like, if you could get one or the other, I'm good with that. That's where I kind of stand on that situation, because I just watched Dane Danger dominate that league.
I'd rather have PJ Haggerty than Dane Danger.
Sure.
I'd rather have the second team All-American than the AAC newcomer of the year. They're both very good. I think if they were both at Memphis next season, they'd be the top two players in the league.
Yes.
All right? So you remove Haggerty from that, if that's where we're headed, and it appears so, then I think Dane Danger would be the best player at Memphis next season and the best player in the league next season. I mean, Doug McDaniel, we'll see, but I would lean that way. He'd certainly be the most proven player in the league next season.
Yeah.
So would I take him over Haggerty? No. But would I take him over the price that I believe is attached to him, as opposed to the $3 million or more I would need to pay PJ Haggerty? I bet you there's better value for Dane Danger than there is PJ Haggerty.
Especially for a team that needs bigs.
And if I were Memphis, I'd be prioritizing that right now. Fighting like crazy to get an extra year of eligibility from Dane Danger, because he didn't get into the transfer portal.
Right.
There ain't no bidding war for him.
And, remember, he was the one that brought this up. Like, I think maybe it was Wallow that was interviewing him and asking him about the season and everything. And he was like, I got an extra year of eligibility. Don't forget, Well, he brought this up.
Well,
yeah. He wants to be back.
My understanding is that they always assumed he had the extra year of eligibility and then realized late in this past season maybe he doesn't. So now here we are. But there was a report he was going to get in the transfer portal, and then he and his mother, I think, both came out and said, no, if we don't know if we're going to play college basketball next season, but if we are, it will be at the University of Memphis. So you don't have NC State or Ole Miss or anybody else coming in trying to buy Dane Danger from you right now.
And it's too late now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, whatever you're going to pay for Dane Danger is probably a much better value than what you would have to pay for PJ Haggerty. So that's your biggest win at this point if you're the University of Memphis. And as I've talked about previously, yes, a team with PJ Haggerty and Dane Danger, I think would be preseason top 25 and clearly the best team in the AAC. But don't forget this, even if you don't get them, Memphis is still going to be the best team in the AAC.
Right.
Even if you don't have either one of them. Like right now at BartTorvik.com, preseason rankings, Memphis' roster doesn't account for either of those players. But Memphis is still projected higher than anybody else in the AAC. Now it's 63rd in the country. It's not great. But it's the best of this bad league. And if you can add either one of those players, that obviously takes you further up the rankings, separating you from the rest of the AAC. And if you could somehow get both of them back, now we're talking preseason top 25.
Yeah.
As of this moment, though, most people think Haggerty out the door, Danger got a chance, but you would need the NCAA to grant this waiver. Hopefully they do.
Number 2.
President Trump is launching a new commission to examine the trials and tribulations of modern-day college athletics.
What's going on?
And reportedly, the man he has tabbed to headline this new commission is Alabama football coach icon Nick Saban.
Okay.
Nick Saban's going to headline a commission launched by President Trump designed to fix college athletics. You give them a chance? You think they can do it?
I trust Coach Saban.
I do trust Coach Saban
I trust
well.
Coach Saban.
The problem, of course, is that Coach Saban is not a lawyer.
Oh.
And just to circle back to our previous conversation, every issue facing college athletics right now is tied to legal issues. The only reason we are operating the way we're operating in terms of NIL, transfer waivers, all this stuff, is because every rule, or at least lots of the rules the NCAA has tried to apply for decades, finally started getting challenged in real ways, and they don't hold up in court. They're illegal. Like, you hear people all the time say things like this about college athletics right now. It's like, it's the wild, wild west. It's lawless out there. Well, the only reason it's lawless out there is because all the laws you tried to create were illegal. All the rules you try to create don't hold up in court. The NCAA says, young man, young woman, you can't do A, B, and C. And then the young man or young woman says, well, I think I can. Let's take it to court and put it in front of a judge. And you know what the judge says every time? This is crazy. Why do you think you can tell this young man he can't do this? Why do you think you can tell this young woman she can't do this? This is illegal. What are you doing? So that's how we got here. So how do you fix it? By just getting Nick Saban in a room to brainstorm? Because you know what Nick Saban's going to tell you? The issues facing college athletics right now is NIL and transfer waivers and players bouncing from one campus to the other. And you know what the courts are going to tell you? Okay, but if you try to enforce any of these rules that you used to enforce or anything close to them without first collectively bargaining with student athletes, you're just going to end up in our courtroom again. Mm-hmm. And you're going to lose again. So it doesn't matter how great of an idea Nick Saban can muster. You know what matters? Is it going to be able to be enforced legally? These rules that you want to put in place. And nobody I know thinks that that's a likely scenario. You probably heard last night there's a case unfolding in California where a judge is eventually going to rule on a big case that will bring a new era of college athletics where universities are allowed to pay student athletes directly. And there will be what amounts to a salary cap on these student athletes and what they can make. And that will be the way that we run college athletics just as second as this judge signs off on it. And you know what will happen within months? Somebody will sue somebody connected to that and say, why are you telling me I can't make more money than I'm making right now? All it's going to take is A.J. DeBansa at BYU signing a $15 million contract with Nike, the NCAA coming in and saying, based on the new rules that we have in place, we don't think that's a valid NIL deal for somebody of your stature. And then A.J. DeBansa says, cool, I'll see you in court. And then a judge is going to say, why do you think you can tell Nike what they can pay that young man? That's illegal. You'll lose again. So until all of this is done in the way that smart people have been telling everybody it needs to be done, these issues are never going to go away. Nick Saban is an incredible football coach, incredible leader of young people. I listen to him talk about just about anything. I find him fascinating. But he's not equipped to fix what it is they're trying to fix. You've got to have a system that can hold up legally. The NCAA hasn't had one, still doesn't have one, and there's no indication that any combination of President Trump and Nick Saban is going to be able to do that on their own. My guess, and this is what a lot of people probably think, this is just like we should reopen Alcatraz. We should buy Greenland.
Yeah.
He just says things. He just has ideas, and he just says them. And then you look up, and it's like, well, whatever happened to that? And it's just like, it's just gone. Like this Alcatraz thing was not something that'll be talked about in a month. But it was like a big story 2 days ago. Build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Just never happens. It just he says things, has ideas, and then they just go away. They just come and go. and you're better off if you just don't even really pay attention to them.
Alcatraz worked once upon a time.
I guess that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's true. You ever been to Alcatraz?
I'd love to go, actually.
I've seen it from a distance, but
Yeah.
I've never taken the ferry to the rock.
I'd like to take the ferry.
I've stood there at I think it's the wharf, Fisherman's Wharf.
yeah.
I've stood there and I've been like, yeah, there's Alcatraz over there.
Yeah.
That's as
I'm
much as
fascinated by it.
What part exactly?
Oh, like the lore.
The lore.
The lore. Al Capone was there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
Yeah.
just the lore.
Yeah, but you realize, like, as soon as you start suggesting maybe you should reopen Alcatraz, 1 million people stand up and explain to you all the reasons that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, I mean, they did close it for a reason. I think there'd have to be like some renovations done.
Yeah.
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 I think they'd have to put some money into it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem practical.
Probably not.
But, a lot of ideas that get thrown out these days don't seem practical.
Fair enough.
And I bet you this college sports reform will be, it'll fall under the exact same umbrella. It'll be a big headline on a Wednesday, and by the following Wednesday, we probably won't be talking about it much more.
Number 3.
Simon Cowell, famed American Idol judge, jumped on a podcast and was asked, so you've, big record producer, television star, you could be picky about what you do and what you don't do. Everybody's probably offering you jobs at some point in your career. What's the wildest job offer you ever got that you actually turned down? And do you know what he said? Here's what Simon Cowell said he turned down. I'd be curious to know if you'd turn this down, Bennett.
Okay.
He said he got an offer from a couple, a husband and a wife.
Okay.
He was the most famous judge in America.
Okay, so this was American Idol era.
Yeah. Like he's like, who judges things? You need somebody to judge something. Singers are like a hot wing competition. Like
Yeah.
Simon Cowell could do it, right? Got approached by a couple. They said, we'll pay you $150,000 to judge us. Judge you what? Watch us have sex and judge us.
How did I know it was going there?
Married couple. So we want you to sit in the room, watch us have sex, and then judge us. Tell us how we did. Tell us if you see any talent. Tell us if we have natural ability or not.
Mm-hmm.
He turned it down. He said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Sure. I mean, again, like, a great judge by all accounts. He judged people that went on to have great musical careers.
You don't have to tell me.
Great, like, because he was the judge on America's Got Talent. So that's like, that's other stuff. That's everything. Probably people that went on to have great Vegas careers.
He can judge stuff.
He can definitely judge stuff. I just don't know what would qualify him as being a sex judge.
Once you can judge you just
can judge anything.
I'm just a judge. I just judge stuff.
I just judge stuff.
Yeah, like I judge you singing. I can judge you juggling. I can judge you, doing it.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the worst gig.
To judge people. Would you take that job? What if that was your job? What if I offered you a $300,000 contract right now and it was your job? You got up every day at 8 o'clock and you just went and watched random couples have sex and you judged them on it. That was your job. That's how you made your mortgage payments.
How much?
I'm gonna give you $300,000 to watch people have sex every day.
I'm in.
You do it right now.
Absolutely.
But you don't get to pick who you watch. You don't get to pick
No, I don't care.
You don't get to pick
care.
Timothy Chalamet and Kylie
okay.
Jenner.
That's okay.
Like
That's okay.
It could be.
I get it. I'm willing to risk that.
You think you would enjoy?
I mean, that's an easy job.
Would you enjoy the work?
Probably not, because to your point, like you're probably not watching, beautiful people do it every time, right?
This ain't Pornhub, Bennett. You don't get to just pick who you want.
You don't get to choose. Yeah, the client chooses you. No, I'm fine with it.
It'd be like you get on Pornhub every day, but I get to pick what you have to watch.
What you watch.
Yeah. You'd be like, I think I'm going for this over here. And I said, no, Bennett.
No, we're going over here. Yeah.
I'm going to show you over here. We're going
to. You know how to say it.
You know what I'm trying. You know what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would. That's an easy gig. I would do it for that price. How long is it going to take? 10 minutes?
You tell me. I don't know.
Right? Like, these are quick. This is quick. Do I get paid per customer?
It's just a salary. It's just a salary. You're gonna work 9 to 5 every day.
Yeah.
5 days a week. and we'll just fit in however much we can fit in there?
Yeah, I'm in.
You'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Simon should have done it, but see, he's filthy rich. He
Filthy
didn't.
rich.
He didn't need it.
He didn't need that $150,000.
No. I could use it.
I don't know that I would like the job. I don't know that it'd be a great job. I don't know that I would enjoy that so much. I think after a while I'd be like, I don't want to do this today. You know?
I'm sure like any job.
Like any job.
Some days are probably going to be more challenging than others.
That's probably right.
You know, every now and again you might get a great client. You know,
you could get a great client.
You never know.
You know, I bet you get some neat stories out of it.
Yeah,
I bet you get some neat stories. I bet those would be interesting conversations. You come home and be like, "Hey, how was your day at work?"
Plus, just like when you meet, "Hey, what do you do for a living?"
Well, I watch people do it.
Let me tell you.
I watch people do it for a living. What a wild thing. Simon Cowell turned him down.
I get it.
I get it too.
Number 4.
It was a wild day at Baptist DeSoto yesterday. Did you see this?
I did.
WREG.com. That's the wildest website.
It really is. Why don't the other stations take note? It's always WREG.
Except
got the wildest stuff.
Why WREG.com makes. If all you ever did was look at WREG.com, you would be. You wouldn't even be able to comprehend how you get through a day
in the city, right?
WREG.com makes you think
it's wild.
Like I'm looking at WREG.com right now. I'm just going to read. I have no idea what's here. I'm just going to tell you what I see.
Okay.
For top story, convicted child abuser back in jail for same offense. Well, somebody didn't learn their lesson.
Yeah, I guess so.
Guess somebody didn't learn their lesson. Tipton County man allegedly assaults mother. I saw this one last night.
Yeah.
But he just beat up his mom.
Come on, dude.
One dead, one injured in Southwest Memphis shooting. Mississippi man arrested for stalking Jennifer Aniston.
What? How? How'd he get there?
He probably took a bus or something.
Yeah.
Man with gun fights female student at high school. This is all WREG they have no interest in trying to make you feel good about anything.
No, they don't.
WREG.com wants to make you feel as terribly as you could possibly feel about everything going on.
Yeah.
All right? But every once in a while they'll throw in something that just makes you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And we got one of those last night. Somebody stole an ambulance at Baptist DeSoto. What do you think you would do if you stole an ambulance?
That's the biggest question with this story is, what do you do when you steal the ambulance? Like, it's not like you're just stealing someone's car where you try to, like, get away and have a new
car. The first thing I would do is turn the sirens on. I know that.
Well, yeah,
What is the point of stealing an ambulance? You're not going to turn the sirens on. That'd be the first thing I did. I'd hit them sirens. I know that.
I mean, that actually sounds like fun. But, like, what do you do when you have the ambulance? After turning on the sirens, then what?
I go pick somebody up, put them in the back, lay them down, hook them up to oxygen. I do the whole thing. I try to take advantage of everything I got.
It could make for a fun day. I acknowledge that. But it seems like a not well thought out plan. I don't know what you do with the ambulance after a while.
It sounds like Buddy decided, I'm going to steal this ambulance, and then got it and was like, I don't know what to do. So you know what he did?
What'd he do?
Crashed it into the hospital. He drove it straight into the wall at the hospital. And did you see the quotes from the story?
Mm-mm. No. Do tell.
They had quotes from eyewitnesses. Listen to this quote. This fella, imagine you're just at bat. Look at that.
Oh, my God.
The guy just ran the ambulance straight into the wall. Look at the fella.
So what happened?
Okay.
We got any explanation?
Not yet.
No.
But so there's an eyewitness, and here's what the guy said. He said, it's a hole in the wall. Who would drive an ambulance into a hospital? But, I mean, hey, if somebody got hurt, at least you're in the right place.
That's a great quote. That is a great quote.
Buddy thinks he's a comedian talking to WREG.com.
It's pretty good, man.
If you go have a car crash, what better way to have a car crash than in an ambulance at a hospital?
No question.
Think about if you were to leave here today and have a car crash and you needed assistance. The first thing they would do is put you in an ambulance, and the second thing they would do is drive you to a hospital. This fella's already in an ambulance and already in the hospital. That's his car wreck. He's already on the way to recovery.
Is he?
I'm assuming by the time you have the wreck, you're already in the ambulance.
That's true, yeah.
You're on your way to recovery.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think he thought this through.
I don't think he thought it through.
I don't
either.
think he thought this through. That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate.
I'm glad everyone's okay.
Is
everyone okay?
One hospital employee has minor injuries.
Okay.
Imagine you're just working in the hospital.
And someone runs an ambulance through the building.
Like you're probably just changing out a pee tray.
Yeah.
A urine bottle. I guess I got to go get Mr. Smith's urine bottle. Clean that out. Next thing you know, an ambulance coming through the wall. It's wild out there.
Yeah, tough day at the office.
WREG.com, man. They ain't never trying to make you feel. I ain't never jumped on WREG.com and they've been like, you wouldn't believe how beautiful Tom Lee Park is. No, they're like 70,000 people got shot at Tom Lee Park yesterday. WREG.com cannot wait to tell you about the bad stuff that's happening.
Yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to switch it up.
Yeah, give me something.
Mm-hmm.
Give me something to make me smile.
I'm gonna need y'all to switch it up a little bit.
I go to WREG.com. By the time I'm done reading, it's like, I can't believe I didn't get shot today.
I need to go lay down.
I cannot believe. Like, I start reading WREG.com. I just go lock all my doors.
Mm-hmm.
I lock everything. WREG.com makes you nervous, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
wow.
I'm glad everyone's okay. At
Me
least.
too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I hope that the guy had fun.
I hope he had fun.
Because he's probably not having much more fun after that.
He's probably got a little bit of jail
You're in
time
trouble,
coming. He's
buddy.
probably got some jail time coming.
Number 5.
And the big headline from yesterday, 3 former Memphis officers were acquitted of all state charges, including second-degree murder in the fatal beating of Tyree Nichols after he ran away from a traffic stop, a death that sparked nationwide protests and prompted renewed calls for police reforms in the United States. That's the first paragraph of the AP story yesterday. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as someone who's seen that video, it seems pretty.
Not guilty of anything? Nothing? Now, to be clear, these same men have been convicted of federal crimes, and they will be sentenced for those. So it's not like these men are going to walk free and never do a day in prison. They have been convicted of federal crimes, and they will be sentenced. The sentencing was, by design, delayed until after this case was done. But I don't think many people believed that they would be found not guilty of all state charges. And I won't pretend to have been in the courtroom, but I've seen the same videos everybody else has seen.
That's the thing.
I've seen the
It's
same
just hard
autopsy
to
reports everybody else has
wrap
read.
your mind around.
This young man, Tyree Nichols, was beaten to death by cops. He just was. That's a fact. He died by blunt force trauma to his head. He was beaten to death. You can't be not guilty of everything when you either played a role in beating this man to death while he was defenseless and crying for his mother. You can't be not guilty of everything when you either played a role in the beating death of this man or did nothing to stop or prevent the beating death of this man, which is your duty, which is your obligation. These officers are in some cases bragging about what they did to him on camera. It's unbelievable. And if you want to understand ever why a certain segment of citizens in this country don't trust law enforcement officials or don't believe in a lot of the systems we have, it's because of shit like this.
Yeah.
We all watched this. We watched a man get beat to death. Not guilty on all charges?
That doesn't make sense. I mean, you know where I stand. I'm pro-police, pro-law enforcement. But again, when you have just this video, this long video, and you can see the whole thing.
They beat him to death. He would still be alive if these officers did the job the way they are instructed to do the job.
Yeah.
I'll take it a step further. He'd still be alive if he looked like me or you. I genuinely believe that.
I think I believe that too.
And I know we'll never live in a perfect country where things like this do not happen. But all anybody asks is that when things like this do happen, people are held responsible.
Mm-hmm.
People are held accountable, particularly when it's on video. We're not taking somebody's word for it. We watched what happened. We watched what happened. We know how he died. We watched him get beat up, and we know that beating is what killed him. Not guilty on all charges. That's embarrassing.
Yep.
That's embarrassing. Be back with GP's Carryout.
We talked a little bit about Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells, man, he finished third in the balloting for NBA Rookie of the Year. He's going to be back. He's going to play in Summer League, and maybe he'll shoot some left-handed jumpers out there. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
With a knockaway.
Good defense.
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting a NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance
But
of
you get a
sticking.
lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think
do?
you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we should hit you with some breaking news.
What's up?
We have breaking news from Vatican City.
Oh my God. Or I'm sorry.
I think God would be understanding of that.
It was a happy. It was a happy. Oh my God.
I believe God is more understanding than people who get offended by you using the word God or Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I hope that God understands that the expression Jesus Christ, it's an effective expression.
It's all in good faith.
I just think at the end of here's what I'm hoping. Here's what I'm hoping. When it's time, Bennett, when it's time, I'm hoping I can look at God and be like, all right, I could have probably gotten my scripture a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have probably come to church every once in a while instead of to the golf course. You know, wake up on Sunday mornings. It's not even like I'm too busy, Like I literally walk out of my door and I could drive to church or the golf course. And I always go to the golf course and never church.
I go to the zoo every Sunday to be with God's creatures.
Well, I go to the golf course every day, Sunday, to be with God's creatures.
What kind of creatures are you talking about?
Vernon is one of God's creatures.
I guess that's true.
Vernon is one. Are you denying that Vernon's one of God's creatures?
No. That's fair enough.
Okay, well, I spend my Sundays with Vernon. He's one of God's creatures.
Okay.
You're not disputing that Vernon's one of God's creatures, are you?
He got to take that up with God himself.
You don't think Vernon's one of God's creatures? I do. I think Vernon's one of God's creatures.
Okay, good.
Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping God would just be like, yeah, you could have done more, and you probably should have. But at the end of the day, like, I wasn't out here trying to hurt nobody, you know? Was I ever going to win Man of the Year? Probably not. But I also, like, you know, I'm not going to steal your lawnmower or do anything like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, am I the best? No, I'm not the best, but I think I'm better than some. Is that a good approach with God, you think? You don't think that's gonna work?
He's kicking your ass out of the pearly gates.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, you ain't walking through those gates.
I was hoping that would work.
You got to do better than that.
I was hoping I was just going to be able to say things like, I'm better than Diddy, you know? I was hoping I would just be judged on a scale of 1 to Diddy. You know?
Yeah.
Like on a scale of like 1 to terrible people. Like, you know that serial killer from Long Island?
Yes.
I was hoping I'd just be able to tell God, like, at least I'm not that guy. Like, I could have been in my scripture a little bit more, but at least I wasn't murdering hookers. You know? Yep. Do you think not murdering hookers is enough to get you in at the end of the day, Bennett?
Dude, we even have Adam Schefter announcing this. I mean, it's the biggest news in the world.
Got a new pope on the way.
Yeah.
Who do you think it is? We don't know. All we know right now is that we have a new pope. A new pope has been elected, but we don't know who it is. Who do you think it's going to be?
I don't know.
Jalen Brunson? You think it's Jalen Brunson?
No. He's busy.
You think Jalen Brunson would make a good pope?
I wish they would go ahead and say who it is. All we know is that the white smoke came out of the Sistine Chapel, which
What if they're just vaping? What if they're not even meaning to announce that they've elected a new pope? What if they're just vaping?
I don't think that's allowed in there.
What if the conclave came out? Oh, buddy, they do a lot of things that ain't allowed.
Did you see Conclave?
No.
You didn't watch Conclave?
I'm sorry.
It's doing numbers now because the movie is because of this.
How convenient.
Yeah. I even saw reports that the bishops were watching Conclave, the movie, like in preparation for this.
Right. I don't know how much you know about the Catholic Church, but sometimes they,
Not a lot. My wife's Catholic.
Okay. Is she excited about this?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to talk to her after.
Yeah, you're gonna need to talk to her about.
I'll gauge the interest.
You think Jalen Brunson would be a good pope, though?
Yeah.
I think he would too.
Yeah.
I think he would too.
Yeah, seems level-headed.
Yeah, seems level-headed.
I think that's important.
Seems calm under pressure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's important in that role.
I never heard no weird stuff about him.
No.
I think Jalen Brunson should be the next pope.
Well, too late.
What if they're just vaping and the white smoke is just vaping? You don't know that. You don't know that. You're talking about stuff you don't know.
It signals that we have a new pope because the smoke's it's like black smoke coming out when they don't know, and then they do the white smoke when they do know. I guess I never knew this until today.
Man, I've been knowing about pope smoke for a while.
Did you?
Yeah, I know what they do. I heard it could be that fella from the Philippines.
Oh, was there a Filipino candidate?
Yes.
There was?
Yes.
Cool. Right on.
Manny Pacquiao.
One of my close friends is Filipino, so that's great.
Oh, don't be bragging.
Just saying.
You don't have him.
I do.
How'd you meet him?
Talking about Pope stuff.
You just out in the streets talking about Pope stuff, and that's how you found your Filipino friend?
No.
Is that how it happened?
For a long time. We've been friends for a long time before this.
Am I asking too many questions?
I guess.
Hey, we got a new pope. A new pope has been elected. I'm looking forward to it.
We don't know his identity
We
yet.
don't know his identity. Why don't we ever have a female pope? Can we do that?
I'd see now you're, that's that. This is supposed to be a celebrated day, all right?
All right, but like, explain. Can you have? Let's look into this.
Okay.
Can you?
I don't think so.
Have a woman?
The answer's
pope?
no.
Well, why not?
I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure the answer's no.
It is no. A woman cannot be the pope, but why? Why?
I mean, it's a fair question. If you want to go viral, go ahead and post that on Twitter real quick. Let's see the reaction.
You should ask your wife about that. How does she feel about that?
Maybe I will.
You know, she could get up every Sunday morning, go to church. She'll never be the pope. Does your wife know she'll never be allowed to be the pope?
I don't think so. I'm not sure how devout she is in her Catholicism.
Is this a problem? Is this something we should talk about more than we talk about it?
I'm not ready to go there right now.
Once upon a time, they said, hey, a woman cannot be a member at Augusta National. We were just like, okay, fine. But then at some point, we stood up and we said, that's not right. It's not right. So now, like Condoleezza Rice can go to Augusta National and play golf whenever she wants. At what point does somebody stand up and say, this isn't right? And does it have to be me? And if so,
I think it has to be you.
And if so, why does it always have to be me?
I think it has to be you.
Why do I have to be the one to stand up all the time and say these things that need to be said?
You got to lead this charge, man.
I'm ready to lead this charge.
Okay.
I'm ready to
fight.
fight.
You got to wait a long time now. I'm pretty sure these guys stay in power for quite a while.
Not Francis.
He was there for a minute, wasn't he?
I don't know.
He was there for a minute.
Who was the Pope we grew up with?
John Paul, wasn't it? Pope John Paul the third or second?
Who was the most famous Pope of my lifetime?
I think it was John Paul.
Most famous Pope of my lifetime.
It was John Paul.
Pope. You think it was John Paul?
He was there forever.
I need to see some pictures. I can't remember all these dudes' names.
He was there forever, man.
But I'll recognize his face. I recognize that fella's face anywhere.
Pope John Paul II.
Hey, I think I effed with him.
He was there forever, man.
No, it was John Paul II.
Yeah, man. He's the most famous one of our lifetime. I'm pretty sure.
He was from 1978 to 2005.
Yeah. Look.
John Paul II had a good run. He had a pretty good run.
Mm-hmm. Great run.
A great run.
Historic run.
A historic run.
Yep.
You think Jalen Brunson could have that kind of run?
He got to get through this Celtics series
first. He's got to get through the Celtics series first.
He's got to get through this series
Before we
first.
start trying to make Jalen Brunson the next Pope, let's see if he can go, take a 3-0 lead on Saturday inside the Garden.
Yeah.
We'll talk. Then we'll talk. One day at a time. We got a new Pope. We don't know who he is yet, but we know it's not a woman because they don't allow that. I don't think they talk about this enough.
I don't either. I think you need to start the discussion.
Isn't this the same church that is against birth control as well?
Oh, God. I don't
know.
Did it? I don't know. Probably.
We might have some stuff to talk about.
Okay.
All right.
The Catholics are about to come after you, buddy.
What have I said that's so wrong? If I've said something wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
Tell me what it is.
I don't think you're wrong.
I am not insisting that a woman should be the Pope. I'm just wondering aloud, why is that a non-starter? Why can't a woman be the Pope?
It's a fair question.
I'm just asking questions, Bennett.
Okay.
I'm not making statements. I'm asking questions. Why do I have to be the one to always ask the tough questions? Why can't somebody else do it?
Shout out John Paul II.
I can't believe you don't think Vernon's one of God's creatures. That's a weird statement to make on a Thursday.
Sorry, Vernon.
All right.
What's today's biggest game?
We're going to the NBA.
Okay.
We only got one game tonight, 7:30 start. We can all go to bed early tonight.
Thank God.
Thank God. Warriors and the Timberwolves, no Steph Curry. Minnesota, 10.5-point favorite. The total's 201.5. You're going to watch it on TNT. How are you going to act?
I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last night. Minnesota.
You're going to lay this.
This is a beatdown.
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards is about to score 40 points.
Anthony Edwards going forward. He got called out by his own coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't it just feel like that?
I don't know.
It does.
I don't know.
It feels very similar to this OKC Denver situation.
I don't know.
Minnesota's going to handle this one pretty easily tonight, I think. I think we will be able to turn the game off in the fourth quarter.
All right.
Yeah.
Bennett says lay the points, 10.5 with the Timberwolves. Tip at 7:30, TNT.
What are we watching on TV?
So remember last week I told you about Everybody's Live with John Mulaney? The Netflix show comes on 9 o'clock every Wednesday night. And it's like a live talk show.
Yep.
And he does like a monologue, stand-up, whatever. Anyway, I thought about you last night.
Okay.
Every show is like a theme. They have a theme. They just pick a topic and they talk about this topic.
All right.
And then they, make jokes and whatever. But there's a central theme to every show. And last night's was, you ready for this? Real ID.
Oh, yeah. Here we are.
It's here.
But you know what? What I'm hearing, what the word on the street is?
What are you hearing?
You don't really need one.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell you that for months.
Yeah, I think you just have to go through like some additional like screening and questions. So like you'll be at the airport longer if you don't have one. It's going to be harder to board your flight, but eventually you'll get there, it seems. It appears.
Also, just get a passport.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Screw going and waiting in line at the DMV.
At this point, it's easier to get a passport than it is to get a real ID.
It'll encourage me to try to travel internationally again.
See?
Yeah.
See there?
Because mine's expired. Those things expire after a while,
Passports
right?
do expire after a while. And like, passports are weird. This is something everybody needs to know. Passports are weird in the sense that you can't travel with them, even if they're not expired, if they're within a certain window of the expiration date. So I don't know if it's like 6 weeks or 8 weeks, but it'll be like, do you have a valid passport? Yes. When does it expire? Oh, in 3 weeks. You can't travel on that.
Yeah.
There's like once you get close to expiration, they expire you.
Yeah.
I don't understand that either.
I'm so anti-real ID at this point that I don't even want to get one.
I have a real ID.
I know you do.
I have a real ID, and I have a passport, so I'm gold. I'm not worried about anything. I'm too blessed to be stressed.
Okay.
I'm too blessed to be stressed. But if you want to know everything about real ID, when did it start? Why is it here? Do you know what the motivation for real ID was?
It happened because of 9/11, right? This is when.
Do you know when 9/11 was?
2001.
Do you know what year it is right now?
2025.
It took 24 years for us to get
to this point. And here's
real ID is a byproduct of 9/11, and we're just now getting there.
And the nerds online are like, "You've had 20 years to do this." Like, shut your ass up.
Shut up,
okay?
nerd.
Nobody knew about this until like 3 months ago. Okay.
Yeah, shut up, nerd.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about it more than 3 months ago.
Yeah,
I've had my real
you
ID
didn't even
for a
know
while.
you had a real ID until you looked at your ID and were like, "Oh, I got the little star." How'd you get it?
I don't know.
It's not fair, dude. It's not fair. I went and got my ID. I had my ID expired. I went to the kiosk at the police station. It took 5 minutes and got a new ID. And then they were like, "This isn't a real ID." I'm like, "What? Why'd you even let me come get one here?"
Some things just happen for me. I don't even know how. Like the first time I was ever enrolled in TSA PreCheck, I don't even know how I did it. I just started showing up, TSA PreCheck. I don't even remember applying for it. Sometimes things just happen for me.
Things just happen for you, I guess.
I got a real ID. I got a passport. I got clear TSA PreCheck. I can go anywhere I want to go. Then I can go anywhere I want to go.
That's nice. I'm envious.
If you want to learn about the real ID, go to Netflix.com, pull up last night's John Mulaney show. They did about 2 hours on it.
Okay.
All right.
What's the best thing we've read?
I updated the top 25 in one. Version 11 has published at CBSSports.com. The main mover, BYU. They added another double-digit score via the transfer portal. I got BYU up to number 3 in the top 25 and 1 now. Number 1, Houston. Number 2, St. John's. Number 3, BYU. The Cougars turned into a power. How are they doing it? By spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on NIL. You can read that right now, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Friday. Oh, you know how much I love Friday.
Love me some Friday.
Hey, when does Food Truck Friday start back?
Good question.
That is a good question.
It's summertime.
You telling me we got a new pope before we got Food Truck Friday back? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I hope it's back. I hope it's back.
I ain't seen no emails.
I think we might wait till after the season's over.
Buddy,
we're still in the season. Even though we ain't. Yeah, I think we have to wait till it's officially over.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Jessica Benson will join me in the first hour. We'll look back at tonight's NBA playoff game. Look ahead to the weekend. Should be fun. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.